Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kirbside Network. I am your host, Jay Kirby, joined here by my wonderful friend. Uh, we've only been discussing doing this interview for like a year, so I feel bad that it's taken me this long. Laurie, thank you for joining me. Laurie, the author, the writer of Path of the Pale Rider, a
Ta-da.
independent comic book that I have gotten the pleasure to read through. I mean, you hooked me at a zombie western, so I kind of I kind of had to read it. But thank you for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. This was I'm so happy to be here. Like you
Yeah.
said, we've been talking about this for a year, some 2 years, 20 years,
Uh, year and some change.
Yeah,
The last year's Cowtown is when we
was it?
met, when we started
Yeah,
discussing,
okay.
hey, we need to collab. But
Heck yeah.
as always, like us on Facebook, follow us on the Instagram. Uh, our YouTube, our Spotify, because this episode is going to be on there. I try to get all of our interviews out on YouTube and Spotify immediately. So go check us out on all our platforms. Shout out to our sponsors, uh, Raise Energy, available at repsports.com. It's early in the year. People still have New Year's resolutions. They're trying to lose some weight, trying to get back in the gym. And what better than some wonderful pre-workout, some wonderful protein snacks. Raise Energy, available at repsports.com. Use the promo code Kirbside8 at checkout. Uh, and on your way home from the gym, you need a snack. You need that protein in your body. You need good, healthy options. So why not get you some jerky? Uh, our friends at jerky.pro have an excellent selection for you. So go check them out. They have so many flavors, so many different, an array of jerky meats, especially their, I don't want to say they're intriguing flavors, but they have things like gator meat. They have things like kangaroo meat. They have all kinds of different, just wacky flavors on top of your classic original teriyaki, black pepper. So go check them out. They're delicious. They're wonderful. That is jerky.pro. Use the code Curbside8 at checkout. And of course, shout out to our friends, our partners, Peach City Inc., giving you all the best custom t-shirt designs at all your local conventions. Go check them out. They are wonderful. They are on our link tree. Collected Comics and their two locations in Fort Worth and Keller. They have some excellent comic book selections and D&D nights at certain areas. So go give them your business. They're wonderful. Tell them we sent you, and they might treat you a little bit better. Uh, and of course, coming up, we have two huge events that I am allowed to talk about now. The first one, of course, being Texoma Comic Con in at the Choctaw Casino Resort in Oklahoma. That is February 22nd and 23rd. We'll be there. Well, we will be there. Curbside will be doing interviews. We'll be taking pictures. We'll be running around doing media just like always. So if you want a chance to come out and meet us, come out and see an amazing convention with some great guests, and
Me.
some great comic book writers, some great comic book artists, voice actors from some of your favorite video games like Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've been playing back through. Dutch is going to be there.
Such
Yeah.
a good game. I
Dutch
love that game.
Vanderlyn from Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be there. So do not miss out on Texoma. And then recently announced more Phenomenal Con in San Antonio, Texas, March 29th and 30th. Curbside will be down there. We'll be doing
Oh,
media. We'll be getting to interview more Power Rangers and add them to our wonderful interview collection. I'm so excited. I'm so just amped up inside for this. So go check out both those amazing events coming up. We'll be there. We hope you will be too. With that, we'll get to the lady of the hour, Laurie.
why, hello.
Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank
As
you.
we, of course, as we discuss your baby, your work of art, Path of the Pale Rider.
Yes. Yes, yes. It's one part spaghetti western, one part apocalypse. It's like Book of Eli, Walking Dead, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and you sprinkle some cocaine bear on top. It's that. And none of those things and all of those things. It's just it works. All that shoved in there together.
You're not entirely inaccurate when you say that either. Like,
Right.
definitely, especially, I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm going to try not to give any spoilers, but
Ooh,
there's those elements of the spaghetti western, but like the first few or the first two books, you definitely get those essence of like Cocaine Bear and Book of Eli, and of course, it's a zombie book, so you get a little bit of Walking Dead in there, but you and this is where I'm going to go into
wow.
my first question is you changed the zombie lore for your book.
Yes.
Where did you come up with the idea for the quote unquote the living undead for your
Yeah.
particular story?
Um, I wanted to do something different. I mean, it's so hard when you I love zombie genre. I love horror. How do you come up with something new that hasn't been done before? And so I looked at it from a different angle. A lot of zombie lore is infection, parasites. Kirkman is what is it? Bacteria that came in on a meteorite. You know what I mean? Like it's infectious and it's that, right? I wanted to do something different. And so when I approached it, I broke death. What if death just didn't work correctly anymore? Something happened, but it's not just for people because usually zombies genre is like the world goes on, but mankind is done, right? But in this world, death is broken. So people, animals, insects, fish, nothing
L-
dies
Large
correctly
angry
anymore.
bears,
Large angry bears,
very
yes.
angry bears.
Right. And so when I looked at it that way, then it became a matter of, okay, well, how does it work? People are themselves when they pass. It just depends on how they pass, and how quickly they decay, how much of their brain is malfunctioning. Because as your body rots, your brain is rotting, you start losing your humanity. That's what your brain is doing, right? So your memories, your ability to regulate emotion, people are becoming violent or vegetative or uncaring. They could run you over with a car and be like, "Oh well," and just go, just go, right? So we have this ever-growing population of just chaotic people. Food becomes scarce very quickly because, again, you can butcher that. Well, you can slaughter that cow, but how do you butcher it? It's still moving. And do you want to eat a hamburger that still moves?
Some
No.
people would say yes, like make sure it's still moving when they get it from the grill. I personally, no, I don't. So,
I don't want to feel it move the entire time I'm trying to digest this thing and then moving on the way out. You know what I mean?
very,
Like there's just
very much
no.
agreed.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's not for me. But then it's like, okay, well, let's become a vegetarian. But the problem with that is that our pesticides don't work anymore. These undead bugs are stupid, and they really only do like two things, right? They eat and they procreate, and then they die in real life. And so, in my mind, you can use pesticides and kill them, and they're going to continue to eat crops. So we have a major food shortage. You have hungry people, they make bad choices. The government, of course, makes bad choices, right? And so they're in the book doing things like putting on curfews. They're over, they're overstepping. So they start taking away the rights of the undead. So they can't own property, they can't drive, they can't vote. And I mean, like at some point, maybe it was okay, like in the beginning, but they very quickly say, okay, as soon as your heart stops, that's it. Now you are classified as undead and you lose all these rights. So there's what would people do? We would riot, right? That there's some people that are staunch believers that in this, I'm talking about the politics of this world, where some it depends on their own experience, how they would see the undead. Because it's like it's my mom, and she's harmless, and she just wants to sit in a corner and knit, right? She's not
Don't
going
you
to
say
hurt.
that to me after I just read episodes 3 and 4. How dare you?
So, but again, she's harmless, right? So, what's the
No,
harm
no,
of her
definitely.
staying there? And then other people, you get that angry undead, and it's like maybe they were okay one day, and the next day they're not, and they do harm. And so you have people in both camps about what to do with this population, and it explodes pretty quick. So, issues 1 and 2, 10 years into that apocalypse, you already get to see the repercussions. You get to see how bad it is. And then issues 3 and 4, you get to go back in time and experience it with Jude St. Clair and his family and understand, why he is the way he is. Why is he searching for this answer? And he's just so determined to figure it out that he makes mistakes and he pulls himself up by his bootstraps and he keeps going. He is determined to figure it out, and if he can put it back together, he will.
No, Jude's definitely an interesting character to me.
Mm,
So where did for those of you who haven't read this wonderful book, Jude Sinclair is the main character.
yes.
He is quote unquote the hero of the story. Where did the inspiration for Jude come from?
Hmm. I like underdog stories, where the character, it's almost like anime. I don't know if you guys watch a ton of anime, but let's take
I don't
Attack.
know. Does anyone look
I'm just
behind me and
looking
see
behind you.
all of my Full
Um,
Metal pops and
right.
my 2 books of I think that's the time I got reincarnated as a slime. I have an entire other wall covered in autographed Funkos from different animes. So yeah, I think we're anime
But
fans here.
there's a trope, right? Where you
Oh
have
yeah.
this character who has no superpowers and is like, it's his determination to get him through, right? Sometimes they do have powers that they discover. Sometimes they're just woefully unprepared for all of this. I love Attack on Titan, and Aaron in the beginning is just so determined, to be a part of this core, and he, like his equipment is malfunctioning and he doesn't know. He's failing out, but he's so determined, to get revenge for his mother and to figure it out. But he really, like, before he knows about his special powers, it's just his sheer determination. And that's kind of where I put Jude. He is woefully unprepared for what is coming. And I think as a character, um, what kind of sets him apart is, well, he's super sarcastic.
Oh yeah. Definitely. That's
Super
I think
sarcastic.
that's why I really like Jude is because
He's so funny.
he's so snarky and I was like,
Yeah.
I could see me saying that.
Right? Like he's so funny that way. His use of ASL is hilarious. So for those who haven't read, we utilize American Sign Language in the comic book. One of his family members is deaf, and so Jude is what you call a coda, a child of deaf adult. He is hearing, but he is fully capable of utilizing American Sign Language. So, but you see it come out where Jude is like back talking in a poker game and he's calling people a douchebag with his hands. It's funny to me, but it's important to the story that he's able to do this. Stuff like that. But he's respectful of women and children. You see that in the first story. It's like he comes upon a farm with a woman and her child, and he's super polite and like keeps his distance and lets them know that he's coming. Um, that's a real interesting scene, I feel, because when people are first reading issue 1, everybody hates her because she's rude to him. But when you start reading like issue 3 and issue 4 and you see how the world is, you understand her a little better, where she's just protecting her property, her child is younger than 10, so born after all of this started, and is naive about the violence that, humans have done to each other in this story. So it's interesting, to read it and then to keep reading and then, oh, I get it now. You know what I mean? But Jude is that guy. He's just polite. He's always trying to do the right thing, um, and messes up sometimes. He doesn't always make the best choices, but makes a good story.
I mean, every good hero has his flaws, so
Yeah.
Way to not, just, oh, he's super perfect and he's he's good at everything. No,
He's not.
he's just an average dude that decided, I'm gonna head that way and
West.
figure out what happened. I
That's a
guess,
recurring joke in our
yeah,
story too. Jude asks for directions and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, man, that's west." Yeah, you just go west. He's like, "West? Just west?" And they're like, "Yeah, west of here. Just go."
yeah.
You'll
He's
see it.
very
It's
much
funny.
just
He's just a
just an
dude.
a guy, a regular person that gets wrapped up in this just batshit crazy world.
Yeah.
Um, and because you brought it up, I did want to ask the ALS, where did the idea of that being a defining character trait for him come from?
You'll have to wait and see.
No, no, I don't mean like in the book. I mean like, where did you, as the writer, come up with, hey, I think this will be a good thing to add in?
It will make sense when you get further into this. Now, here's one thing I can say about this world. When I originally wrote this story, it was a movie script.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
so in
Oh,
live
I would love
action,
to see this as a
right?
live action movie. Yeah,
Oh
this would be
my God.
fantastic.
It would, and that's what it was intended for, was that's how I see it in my head is it's live action. But again, you have action, you have sound. Sound is super important in this world. Like in issue one, Jude puts soft shoes on his horse as they try to sneak around an undead bear. And so if you saw that for the first time, you're like, that is a bear carcass. Why are they trying to be quiet and sneak? Or what is going on? Until you see that this thing wakes up, they make noise, it wakes up, and then it chases him down the road. So sound, you have to be like super quiet so you don't wake things up. And there are things in this world that are so loud. And that's one of the challenges that we have in a comic book. But that would make sense that a character who could communicate silently would have an advantage in this world. The problem
No,
is who else can communicate with you? Because right now he's just calling people douchebags. Like that's what he does. Like he just swears an asshole. But it will come to play later on in the story about why this gives him an advantage. You'll see him use it.
gotcha, gotcha. No, that's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, I guess my next question, because you brought up the movie script, is where did you, as a writer, get your start? What did you wake up one day and go, I'm gonna write this, or did you have some sort of, a literary background? Were you just a kid that watched way too many westerns,
Yes.
or all the above?
Well, I was that kid watching Westerns with my dad, thinking they're dumb, and then realizing that I loved everything about them when I started watching apocalypse movies. Like Westerns are like your gateway drug to apocalypse movies and genre because it's the same. It's a lawless world. You're living with what's on your back. There's some, limited resources, water, electricity, etc. So I found that I love that genre. So that was me growing up. And we watched all sorts of nerd stuff. It was Star Trek, Star Wars, sci-fi. We watched Lord of the Rings. We watched I mean like I watch all the nerddom, right? So that's me. I like all of that. So you're gonna get that subtle references to other nerdy movies in the comic book. So you're going to see that. Um, but okay, so in 1997, I started training martial arts. I was training Indonesian and Filipino martial arts. I still practice Filipino martial arts, but in 2017, so quite a bit later, I was established. I was teaching. I had other friends that were teachers, and we decided to do a choreography team. And
Oh,
so we were
nice.
choreographing fight scenes for a production company in Detroit called Coattail Collective. We did a short film called Catfishing, which is about 7 minutes of ass kickery and very little plot. It's not my acting skills, right? Okay. You can watch that and watch me do a wall run, a gun disarm, knife disarm, and run someone over with a car. My acting, it's not that great. Okay. That wasn't the point. The point was to kind of have this um, visual business card that we could send people and be like, this is the kind of thing that we can do for you. right? We can take the falls, we can do the stunts. These are all the different tricks that we can do. But the production company looked at me and they were like, "Do you want to write something else for us?" And I was like what? And they're like, "Short form web content." And so I wrote a series called The Agency. It was 6 episodes, and I wrote 2 seasons of 6 episodes, and we had filmed the pilot before my family relocated from Michigan to Texas. So that all stopped. So that's where I got bit with that writing bug because I was like, I can write. I love writing. Look at all the twists. I look at all the fights I can do. This is awesome. And then had the idea for what would the world look like if death broke, right? And wrote it as a full-length movie and then had no idea what to do with it.
No, that's first of all, trust me, I have so many ideas just sitting here going, how can I make anything of this, please?
Yeah.
But no, that's actually a really interesting like background. Like honestly, I didn't know that you were such a badass. Like I knew you were tough, but damn, like it sounds amazing. And also, I'm gonna have to find this series. Like
That well, you can't see the agency because again,
mm,
all we did was film the pilot. It needed reshoots and it needed work, but I had relocated already, so there was no going back. But
oof.
you can see the short film that we did. It's called Catfishing
Mhm.
and it's on my YouTube page.
Well, I'm
So
gonna definitely
it's
have to check that out.
yeah, you can watch me wall run and knife fight and run someone over with a car. It's there.
It I mean, that sounds awesome. It really does. I'm gonna check it out after this. But it kind of a lot of people know. If you don't know, welcome to the show. But I'm also a wrestler on the outside.
Well,
I do the pro wrestling that you see on TV, and so much of it. I think the reason why I got hooked into wrestling is backwards from how you got hooked into writing. Is because I've
yeah.
always had a creative imagination. I've always wanted to tell stories. And then I got to see these larger than life characters on TV. And so I just wanted to use wrestling to tell stories instead of vice versa, storytelling and turning that into a movie. So
Mm-hmm.
that is such like that resonates with me is what it is
Yeah.
I pay
Yeah.
attention to all that kind of stuff. Like I focus on the story elements, I focus on the characters, and even in like my matches, I try my best to try to tell some kind of story uh between me and my opponent, whether I'm the good guy or whether I'm the bad guy.
That's awesome, by the way. There's a ton of people in comics that love wrestling and tell, like I host a show on Wednesdays called the Any One World Showcase. And so there's other creators with my publisher, Anyone and ASAP Imagination. I launched 2 campaigns on Kickstarter in 2024, both for wrestling comics. So people are still writing, wrestling stories in comics is super cool. So I don't know if it's a new thing or if it's a continuing thing, but I encourage it. It's just a lot of fun, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
absolutely. And I'm def now I got to send you the poster for my next show. Because while I'm still hurt
Yeah.
and can't get in the ring yet,
I'm not getting in the
uh,
ring. Be like, I'm
you
Jay,
you
I'll do
you
it.
you can at least come and enjoy, and I hope you do.
Cool.
But no, that's a really cool way to get into writing. Is you had this experience, you had this almost gateway. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
You had this gateway into movie making, and then movie making taught you storytelling, and
Yes.
storytelling developed into writing, which is
Yes.
usually the other way around. So
Right.
it's really fascinating to me that you did the process backwards.
I know. I know. Because I interview a lot of comic creators too, and usually it's like, oh, I was reading Spider-Man as a kid, and I really like stories, and I've been writing forever. And then I've always had like some of these characters have been living with them for forever, and I'm just like, I didn't even read comics till I was an adult. Like the first comic that I really read and that resonated with me was Who Watches the Watchmen.
Ooh, nice choice.
Hmm. That's Because it's like, again, like you said, the overpowered, they're two-dimensional. I mean, this is my own opinion, guys. Don't come for me. But a lot of these, legacy characters, it's like, okay, there's no flaw there. That's not what interest means. So who watches The Watchmen? All they are is flawed characters. The one perfect character, Dr. Manhattan, doesn't have any connection to humanity anymore. And so it's just such an interesting concept to me that these are flawed individuals and they bring their flaws with them to their superhero persona. And I was like, this is much more interesting to me. So you're going to see that three-dimensional fleshed out character in all of my characters. The good guys, the bad guys, there's always more than one side to why they are doing what they are doing.
No, that I mean, that's some of the best characters is it's not always
Hmm.
just a black and white kind of ordeal, even though some of your issues are in fact in black and white, which I mean
Not
is
anymore.
no, just
You,
I have like an
you,
OG like
yes,
original release of number one, and
yes,
it was still very interesting, even it not having the color in
yeah.
it. But
Yeah, those are OG. I think I have three left of those.
really,
They're out of print. Like I don't print them anymore, obviously because we have the color version and it's color in the trade paperback. So if you are one of those that have the black and white, hang on to that bad boy because we ain't
because
making no more.
it's gonna be worth something one day.
Maybe, hopefully, when we get our own movie or a Netflix series someday, that way you can say I was there from the beginning and
Right?
you'll
Fingers crossed. Hey, if you're taking auditions to play Jude, I'll learn ASL.
You will? Okay. I'll keep that in mind. At that point,
It's
you're like, that's Netflix's deal.
it's gonna
You know?
take me a while to learn it, but I'll try.
There's that was, I think, one of the biggest things about Netflix where I was like, I don't want to take it this way, is because places like Netflix will buy your IP in totality. So they can rewrite it, they can rename it, they can cast who they want, they can bring in additional support, or they can just shelve it. And you can't do anything about it, and you can't release anything in your world anymore. Right. And so even if they saw the potential, and I mean, like, again, I'm a newer writer, so they could be
Mhm.
like, get out of here, kid, you're bothering me, right? Or like, what do you bring? Do you have an audience? No? Okay. See us again in 10 years. And that's more likely what would have
Mhm.
happened. But if they had looked at it and been like, we want to buy this from you, um, again, I was too worried like my characters would never see the light of day because the potential is there for them just to be like, nah, we got other things on the docket, put this on the shelf, we'll revisit it in 10 years. Oh
Right.
God.
No,
So,
trust me, I've had more than enough rants about Netflix and not staying true to their source material. Witcher.
mm-hmm.
Uh, excuse me.
My biggest pet peeve is World
Mhm.
War Z. That's the worst.
That
I won't
wasn't
even start.
Netflix's fault, but
It's
I
not
feel you.
Netflix's fault, but
I feel you.
that was a huge slap in the face to that series.
Mm.
Series that was just, it was a single book, but it was such an amazing book. And they bought the rights to use the name. And I feel like they took the main character's name and gave it to Brad Pitt, and the rest is different. Like, how
No, but
dare you? How dare you?
my my poor lovely girlfriend. She's had to hear me complain for the past few months about the Borderlands movie
Oh, I don't
because
even see it. Nope, can't do it.
well you've seen me at cons. You've seen me at Texoma. Borderlands is one of my favorite franchises. I'm
Hmm.
friends with Marcus Moldine, who literally voiced my favorite character from the game's Brick. I'm doing a playthrough as him as we speak on Xbox. Um, but like so much of the movie was generic space, sci-fi western, and so little of it was actually Borderlands. Like they took the names and they took the characters, and that was it. Like they didn't do anything with this glorious, rich lore that they could have built off of, and it was
How
so upsetting.
How dare they? How dare they?
Well, on a more positive note, because
Sorry, let's go back to Pat.
I'm gonna keep ranting all night, and I'm sorry that I'm out of practice when it comes to longer than 5 minute interviews. Um, so with the idea of this starting as a movie, who would you have cast as Jude and some of the main
Oh,
characters?
I
I'm
have,
truly intrigued.
let me see. Okay, so I have two actors picked out. The first one being Jensen Ackles,
Oh, that's a wonderful pick. That's a
right?
wonderful pick.
He has that rugged look. He can grow a beard. He's
Mhm.
super sarcastic, right? But can turn on the charm if need be. So I feel like he has the look of Jude St. Clair and the kind of embodies the attitude. The other actor I would pick if we couldn't have Jensen Ackles is Scott Eastwood,
Oh, excellent.
right? Because
Excellent choice.
Path of the Pale Rider ties into Western roots. And now there's different parties, like there's the John Wayne party, but I'm staunchly in the Clint Eastwood party, right? Just from what I watched growing up. And there's even a movie with Clint Eastwood called Pale Rider,
Oh, I love that movie. Love that
right?
movie.
And the whole thing about that movie is, and again, it draws from the same source material that we do, which is the book of Revelation. It's the
Mhm.
apocalypse, the four horsemen of the apocalypse. The last one is death. He who rides in on the pale horse is named Death, and hell follows behind him. And they reference that in the Pale Rider movie as Clint Eastwood is riding into this town on this white horse. And you never really know, is he a guy? Is he a spirit? Is he just the spirit of revenge? Is he death coming to this town for revenge? What is he? Who is he? What is he? Right? And they don't answer that. And so Scott Eastwood playing Jude St. Clair again would pay homage to so many things that we love at Camp Path of the Pale Rider. You know what I mean? And again, like if you read our comic, we have those iconic eye squints from, you know, Clint Eastwood movies where he
Oh
just has
yeah.
that squint. He's like, "Ooh."
Oh
Yep,
yeah.
that's it.
Literally just reread issue 4 right
Mm-hmm.
before the interview. And
You got
that's
that.
literally the final panel is just Jude doing this at somebody.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
Oh, that's a
whatever.
great. I
Oh,
would love
that
to hear your
I
take on a ton of
oh
things in issue
I
4.
want to know who that gentleman was, and I'm not going to give any
Yeah.
more spoilers,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
means now I got to read 5.
Um
Thanks.
he's in issue 5, but you still don't get any questions answered. Sorry. But you will see him, and you will find out who that is and what he's doing. And when you do, those two scenes that he's in will take on a completely different meaning. Because again, you're seeing it from Jude St. Clair's point of view and his level of knowledge at
Mm.
that point. So he's seeing it one way, you're seeing it from his eyes. But when you find out who this guy is, it all changes. You have to go back and reread it
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to
again.
reread it again. Thanks for that. So,
Sorry.
so what is I we've talked about this a little bit in the past. What is the plan for Path of the Pale Rider? Right now you're on
Yeah.
you've released
Six.
issue 5.
Right?
You are campaigning for issue 6.
Hmm.
Where does the story go as far as issues? Are you stopping at, let's say, 10? Are you going to 20? Where's the story headed? Well,
Well,
where's the, let me rephrase that. Where's
where's the
the
penultimate?
publication going? And then you can tell me later after I read all of them where the story was going. Because no spoilers.
Okay. So again, I wrote this as a full-length movie.
Mhm.
This arc is broken up into 12 issues, with each 4 issues is like an act of a movie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, trade paperback. That's because it's act one of the movie,
Mhm.
right? And so if it was a Netflix series, there'd be 3 seasons,
All right. Okay.
each with 12 issues.
Okay.
Okay. So we are going to hopefully 36. Now, however, I could release them in a different way. So if the Kickstarters start earning more, I could, instead of making it 1 through 12, I could do 1 through 6, and each one is a double issue. It just depends on how our funding comes in. You know what I mean? I can release them faster if I can, right?
Right, right.
It's still the same amount of story. You'll just get it a little quicker,
Well,
which I
good,
know
because
everybody wants.
stop teasing me with
I know everybody wants
cliffhangers.
that because every time we get to an end of a book and like I release it on PDF first and everybody binge reads it and then they get the physical and that's when they go through and they find all the Easter eggs. They scan all the QR codes that are in there that will take you to special things and music and you got to scan the QR code in 5. It's amazing. There's 2 of them, but the second one is the best one. You just have to that's all I'm going to say. Um but every time we release it, people binge read it, and then I immediately hear from them. This is awesome. When's the next one coming? And it's like, gosh, I wish I could just turn them out, but it's expensive, you
Right.
know?
Trust me,
I
I
know.
understand. I wish I could build some of the production on this side up, but it's expensive.
It's expensive. So, but that's
Um,
why running campaigns and like Kickstarters are so important, because it allows myself and my team to continue to make a kick-ass product for everybody, to, put in all the art that it takes, to build those extra things like the riddles and the short films and, you know what I mean, to expand your experience when you go through Path of the Pale Rider, because it's much more than just a comic book at this point.
oh yeah. I've definitely noticed your Easter eggs, your scavenger hunts. I don't remember which issue it was, but you have a almost an entire was it a crossword in sign language?
Okay, so the
Uh,
crossword puzzle is in the back
mhm,
of issue 1.
mhm.
But the back cover of every single issue is a riddle. And so on the back cover of issue 2 is a riddle written in American Sign Language. So you have to translate it and then you have to solve the riddle. But if you do and you email me your answer, something shows up in your mailbox from a character
Ooh. Let's see. I've
communicating to you.
I've got my copy of issue. Yep, yep, there it is right there.
Hmm.
I see, I've got my copies on me. So
Yeah.
issue
So,
2, you've got the riddle on the back, and if you can translate it,
hmm
which
solve the riddle. Send
I'm
me
gonna
your
have to
answer.
I'm gonna have to go back through
Something
find me a cheat code of which letter means which hand symbol.
Google.
Right.
It's okay. You can use tools. It's acceptable. Like we have a QR code scavenger hunt on the back of issue 3. Most of that is just fun, where it's like trailers for westerns, the good, the bad, the ugly, um, Quick and the Dead. There's trailers for Train to Busan, Night of the Living Dead. There's trailers for The Matrix, Attack on Titan. It's a walk through my brain.
Hmm.
We have funny things like He-Man singing Four Non-Blondes. There's the Swedish chef making hot sauce, which is hilarious. And so it's a form of entertainment. But one of them will take you to a hidden video where you get to see something a little creepy,
Mm,
but informative. It's
interesting.
like the hacker group Anonymous that wears the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yes.
It's going to resemble that, but from our world.
Interesting.
Hmm. So we have that. We have working phone numbers. We have hidden web
Mhm.
pages. Like there's a lot. The one that's coming for issue 6, the riddle is by far the best. It's by
Yeah.
far the best one. You guys have to solve that one. The answer is just so spectacular. I cannot wait for you guys to get it.
So speaking of which, when can the wonderful fans of this world expect issue 6?
It should be fulfilled in April of this
April.
year. Yeah. We switched our printers around. And then Gilbert Perez, he was working on another book, which he has finished. And so Path of the Pale Rider is his priority. And so he's working on issue 6 now. So we should be done in April, fulfilling shipping in April as long as nobody dies or gets hit by a bus or anything terrible like that.
Well, I mean, even if they do in your world, they'll still be around.
In our world, it's like, get back to work, Gilbert. Here's a pen. Just kidding. But yeah, it should be April, and then we should be running our campaign for issue number 7, which is the big one, this summer. So I'm hoping that we can do, if we do what we did last year, which was campaign fulfill, campaign fulfill, campaign, probably fulfill early 2026 for number 8, and then we can do trade paperback, uh, 2026.
Excellent.
So
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
the
Uh,
big one is 7, Jay.
7.
7.
All right. I will keep my eyes out because I know I'm not gonna wait till Cowtown to get my next issue.
No,
I, I'm gonna
no, no.
I'm gonna have to pick up 5 at Texoma from you, and then
Right?
probably going to have to order issue 6 from you,
We're just
personally.
from the Kickstarter. You should just go grab one there.
That as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But you got to get in there and get number 7 when it drops. You have to. Like
I will.
what we're setting up right now with 5 and 6, it accumulates into 7, and it's like with Path with the first arc being 12, it's like 1 through 6. Issue number 7 is its own thing, and then everything after 7. It's so crazy what happens in 7. It changes the rest of the story going forward.
Goodness.
It's crazy.
I'm
You just gotta
Listen,
get
I'm legitimately excited. I am I am sitting here looking at my 4 little lonely issues going, damn it, I should have
it.
gotten 5 already. But things happen, and necks give out and arms start giving
Oh.
you issues. So you kind of forget, oh yeah, I'd never picked up 5. So
You
expect
poor
me.
guy. I sent you the PDF. I was like, "Did you get this
Yes.
one?" You were like, "No."
Nope.
And I was like, "Well,
Past
here's the
three
PDF. You
months
can
have
read
been a
it."
little bit rough for this guy.
Right.
So I will definitely be picking up my
Poor
issue of
Jay.
5 at Texoma.
I still have a
And
ton of variant covers left too, so you can pick.
ooh,
Yeah, because there's a William Russell. Who are the other ones? Victor Medina. Yeah, Victor Medina. Uh, and there's a Marco DeFeo cover, and then there's an Everett Watkins cover. They're all fabulous. They're all fabulous. So you can
no,
pick and choose which one you
I
like.
definitely I have an assorted number of your covers. Some of them a little more serious. My issue 1, very very serious.
Yeah.
Looks like a horror western. But then you go to my cover of issue 2. It's
The Voodoo's.
just yeah,
Yeah.
the little voodoo. And then unfortunately it
I
shifts
love him.
again in my copy of issue
Yes.
3.
That's
Um,
Everett Watkins. He does amazing work. I've had multiple covers from him. He's been around since issue 1. He did the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly homage cover. And then he did that one. He did the Santa Claus Christmas tree with zombie heads on it.
mhm.
Mind you, Everett Watkins is a graphic designer by trade. So he does like websites and logos
Mhm.
for people. And so I forget how I met Everett, but it was early on. It was like before we crashed and burned the first time, but he hung around, and so he's been a part of my journey for a long time. And he comes out and he does covers just for me, um, and he grosses himself out when he does them. And I love when he's like, Lori, do you trust me? And I was like, what are you doing? He was like, just trust me. It came out with this, the big
Nice.
James on the yellow with the red splash and the black. And I was
Yes.
just like, you have earned my trust from here on out, sir.
Right.
Right. So he does amazing work. Amazing work. He is a cover in 5. We don't have one for 6. I didn't do quite as many
Mm,
variant covers for 6 because I plan on going all out for 7. So just
nice.
trying to
Well,
hold myself back.
We'll be looking forward to 6 and 7 both coming out. So
Yeah.
I know it's hard to pick a favorite, but out of the five that have released so far, which one is your favorite? Not
Out
art,
of
not
one through
cover art, but
five,
out of 1 through 5, which issue is your favorite? Which,
five,
five? All
for
right.
reasons I can't tell you because you haven't read it yet.
Because spoilers.
Um,
I dare you.
no, it's because it's like one through four is a great foundation. It sets up the world. You understand Jude St. Clair, you understand the world that he's walking through, the history behind it, and like how it fell apart, the trauma that put him into play. And really it's like he went from the frying pan into the fire, right? So you get all that in one through four. Five, you catch up in time. So you get the Jude St. Clair that you met in issue one, and then the story moves forward. Um, in issue two, I dropped you into this situation with this character named Dwayne Fink, who claims to know something about how the apocalypse started. And then I drop, and it's like, I'd never answer that question because you go into issue three with the flashback, right? Because Jude's
Hmm.
like, I remember my first day when that happened. And he tells you his story. So that's him telling his story to Dwayne, right?
Hmm.
So in five, you're back in that jail cell with Jude and Jude starts to tell you what he knows, right? And then, nope, that's it. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Ah,
We have a fantastic ending to issue
oh,
five. It is, like I said, it's very cinematic because when I wrote this, I was thinking movie. So there's lots of visuals, there's lots of action. Make sure you scan the QR code that's related because you'll figure out exactly what's happening to these guys. And it's wild. It's wild. And I just drop you into an ending where you're going to be mad at me because you're like, no, I need to know what happens.
yeah.
But
I was
that's
mad at you after issue 3, so thanks. So
I'm
now,
hee hee, queen of the cliffhanger. That's me.
all right.
Yeah. So
So most importantly, out of all this, because we've talked and we've referenced it, what is the easiest way for people out there to get get their hands on Path of the Pale Rider? What's the easiest way to go about it outside of finding you at a convention, of course?
right. So okay. So while we have a Kickstarter live, that's the easiest way because not only can you get all of our books, you can get all of our goodies there. So we have hot sauce, we have hats, t-shirts, bags, pins, keychains. And I mean, like, we're doing super cool stretch goals, scratch and sniff stickers, holographic slice and dice events where I dress up as Pikachu and I smash a freaking watermelon with a sledgehammer. Um, we have such great stuff on the campaign, and some of it you can only get there. The Funko Pops, the wooden covers, a lot of the exclusives are only for Kickstarter backers. And so if you're watching this and you're interested, head to that Kickstarter. We are live from February 1st to February 28th. We have a catch up tier. You can get your hands on every single issue. The trade paperback is there as well if you prefer a trade over a gazillion single issues. It's totally up to you how you want to cater your reading experience. We have digital option as well. So it's just go to Kickstarter, look up Path of the Pale Rider, a bunch pull up. You want to click on the one that says 1 through 6 because we're live. Now, if we're not live, there's a few different ways you can get things. So one is to see me in person. That's the best way because you'll deal directly with me and you a lot of times you can get the hot sauce from me there. You cannot get the hot sauce from my website because of FDA.
Rats.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter and in person are the two ways. And I cannot always bring it to every Comic-Con because some of them have rules that you can't bring in outside food and they won't let you put it on your table, no free samples. So it's hit or miss in the cons. So if you really want that hot sauce, it's the Kickstarter. But I have my website, so www.pathofthepalerider.com, pathofthepalerider.com. I can talk. That has all the books and most of the merch. So the t-shirts and I think the keychains and some of the tchotchkes are there. Um, I'm on chartercomics.com. So you can get a smattering of my books off of that website. I think he's redoing the website, so all of them are there. But last time I checked, I think 1 through 3 were there, and I was like, "Where's the rest of my books?" He's like, "I'm working on it." So they'll be there. I'm also on anyoneworld.com. And if you're international, you can get my trade paperback physical copy no matter where you are in the world. So 1 through 4. And then again, when we get to 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and those are available for international shipping. They have digital download as well. So those are most of the places you can pick up my books. But I just want to reiterate that when people like myself, independent creators, when we are running a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding campaign on any platform, that is the most important time for us because those funds guarantee that we can pay an artist a fair wage, that we can print, that we can print these comics and ship them to you. Um, it's pretty expensive to do this, so it just guarantees that we can continue telling our story. There's so much regurgitation in Hollywood right now, reboot, sequel, prequel. It's just there's no original ideas. Um, they're here in indie. That's where we are passionate about our story. We want to make sure that you can read it the way it's meant to be. So come along. If you haven't checked us out yet, head to the Kickstarter and give us a try. Absolutely, you won't regret it.
Hell yeah. No, 1000%. I've got an entire box out in the other room full of independent comics. Cannot express enough how important it is because yes, I still love my Marvel, I still love my
Mm-hmm.
DC, I still love my Dark Horse, but it's important to support all these smaller independent people trying to get their work out to the world, trying to share whatever their vision, whatever their story is to the world. So definitely get out there, support independent comics, support things like Path of the Pale Rider, because Lord knows I've been extremely entertained by
Mm.
what you've written so far, Laurie, and I can't wait to
Thank
read
you.
more. Of course.
Oh, I'm so excited because we're getting to the good parts.
Right. Yeah, no, it's just you're just about to start getting ramped up.
Yeah, we're ramping. And it's like, I know it's been wild and I know everything has gone wrong for Jude, but it's about to get so much wilder. It's really it's gonna take off. Next issue is insane. I'm so excited. And I drink your
um
tears, so it's good.
I'm glad you didn't bring that mug because,
Oh, what do you mean? This mug?
yeah.
This mug right here?
That one right there. Yeah, that one.
It stays at my desk. I love this mug. Yeah, no. Um, some
Uh,
trigger warnings. Be prepared. Don't get attached to anybody. Just don't.
yeah.
Jake can tell you.
Definitely don't. Oh man. Um, but no, definitely I can't reiterate enough. Support independence, support smaller cons. Like I said before the broadcast, myself and Lori, we're going to be at Texoma here in like two
Yeah.
weeks. It'll probably be closer to a week by the time that this gets released. I'm going to try to edit this and get it out as fast as I can so that as many of you watching can a enjoy the Kickstarter and b support as much as you can. And come see us at Texoma.
Yeah.
Uh,
Come see me.
Lori's got, like she said, multiple variant covers. She's got
Hmm.
hot sauce that'll kick you in the damn chest.
Yeah.
Uh, Learn that the hard way.
It's good though.
It's
You'll love it.
oh no, it's delicious, but damn, that's one way to welcome someone to Texas
Yeah.
is
Welcome to
hey,
Texas. Have
th-
this hot sauce.
this is what Southern hot sauce tastes like, and good Lord, uh
Good times.
oh, absolutely. But um before I go, Lori, of
Mhm.
course we talked about Path of the Pale Rider Kickstarter and the
Yeah.
pathofpalerider.com. Where can everyone else find you and your excellent works out there on the
You know,
interwebs?
I do some writing for other creators as well. Um, so being a part of Charter Comics, I was introduced to a interesting creator named William Russell. I say interesting because he is so talented, but man, he'll tell you what he thinks. So just be prepared. But he is the creator of this series called Psycho Sal, and it's an 80s slasher series set in New Orleans. And it's unique because we change perspective in the book. So the first three issues, the perspective is told by this team of FBI agents hunting this serial killer who's vicious. Um, I picked up the series with issue 4. So I wrote 4, 5, and 6 from the point of view, it's the same story, continuing the story, but from the point of view from a female antagonist. And then we picked up 7, 8, and 9, and you get not only do you get the FBI and you get the character that I wrote, but now you're getting the point of view from the serial killer as well. And so it's really unique that way. And so William Russell, that's a great series. I recommend it to everybody. If you like horror and you like slasher, this will check all those boxes. So we just started production for issue number 8. He's going to be launching that Kickstarter pretty soon because his team is super fast. They just inked like 6 pages yesterday. I was like, well, okay. So they're super speedy. So there's that. I did write for a couple anthologies that are coming out. So Big Dog Inc. Had their 14-year anthology. So I wrote a short for that that should be printed and should be shipping soon. So BD 14. And then I wrote a short for Cthulhu Invades Fairyland.
All
If you
right.
like a retelling of your classic grim fairy tales, but from a Lovecraftian point of view, it's gonna be a big book. It's a thick book anthology. There's a like 60 plus creators attached to this thing. And I think that one's gonna launch on Kickstarter in March. Travis Gibbs is heading that one up, but I have a piece in there too. And I just recently wrote a short for Terry Parr, who's also in Texas, and he does this series called Gemini Force, which I love because it's so different. Because Path is like dark, humor is horror, Western, Psychocell is horror, slasher, 80s, Cthulhu is horror, Lovecraftian, and Gemini Force is two cloned 80s rock stars in space.
I was gonna say it's very 1980s Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes, but
Uh,
it's also not suitable for work, just so you're aware. They don't like to wear clothes. We'll just put it that way. So if that's your bag, people, keep an eye out for Gemini Force. Terry Parr is running that probably sometime this year. But it's just like it's hilarious hijinks. It's Saturday morning cartoons because you don't have to know anything to read this, and it's 2 stories in an issue. So it was like way different for me. Way different.
I can
I liked
imagine.
it. Yeah.
But no, I've met Terry at a couple cons. She's fantastic.
He is.
She's
I
a
love him.
wonderful person. So
We'll be
I'm
doing a cover for issue 7. Woo!
oh
Yeah, right?
I haven't
I got
used this button all night, but oh
I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna have lots of things coming for issue 7. Issue 6 is a thing. It's its own thing. It's setting up that big moment for 7. So you gotta read issue 6 so you can have that moment with issue 7. We're gonna go there. So, but I'm gonna call in all my favors, all my friends, be like, "Hey, you want to do a cover? We're gonna do a cover. You want to do a cover? Yeah, we're doing covers for this one. So we're gonna have fun."
well, Laurie, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for talking about your excellent creation, your excellent little project here. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. So if I can do anything to help tell more people about this
Mm,
excellent comic book, this excellent story that's still ongoing. So
yeah, yeah, we got a way to go.
there's plenty of time for A, people to get caught up, and B, for people to still come in. You haven't missed anything just yet. There's
No.
still more to come. So go check out Path of the Pale Rider. It's an excellent book. I cannot say enough good things about it. I'm excited for each and every issue. I talk to Laurie at every single con that I see her at, telling her all the wonderful things about her stories. But Laurie, thank you tonight for joining me. It means
Yeah.
the world. I am so sorry that it took us so long to sit down and do this,
Sometimes
but
it's just the way it goes, and that's okay. We're here now, right? So we made it
yes.
happen. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk to your followers about what I do, about what I'm passionate about, and what I'm having fun doing. So it means a lot to give us the chance to talk about the things that we do.
No, absolutely. And it means the world for you to come on the show, for you to share this wonderful passion with not only myself, but everyone else at Curbside. Uh, Lord knows it's got me interested in what we could do down the line with Curbside, with Path of the Pale Rider.
Ooh.
Um, Trust me, I'm gonna talk to you about that off screen, but
Mm.
it makes me very excited. But thank you tonight for joining me. Thank you for sharing this with us, this amazing story that I can't wait to read more of. Ladies and
Awesome.
gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix my screen, and I apologize. I'll get better at this one day. There we go. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching here on Curbside. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, like and subscribe on YouTube, on Instagram, like and subscribe to all our videos. I am trying my best to post more on TikTok. So more clips, more shorter interviews will be on there as well. And of course, all of our interviews are available on our Spotify, so go check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping Curbside.